All right, so if you're a Christian or gospel bass player and you're looking to level up not only in skill, but also in opportunity, hang around. And as a bonus, I'm gonna show you this lick at the end of the video, so be sure to stay tuned. All right, guys, so jumping right into this video, the first point we're going to talk about today is raise your level of expectation. What are you expecting to accomplish as a musician this year in 2024, or whenever it is for you that you're watching this video? What are you expecting to accomplish? So many times we settle on where we are. You know, we've gotten to a place in our playing, we're content. Some of us, we have a good job. We just get to play on Sundays or on the weekends, and that's cool for us. But what I want to challenge you to do in this video is to start raising your level of expectation. What is your level for yourself? There's a student of mine, Charles, and if you're watching, what's up, Charles? Charles, when he first started with me doing one-on-one coaching lessons, his ambition was to just become the backup player at his church. Charles has a good job. He's already doing what he likes to do, but this music thing, he's been wanting to play bass for many, many years. And so he's a little bit older at the time. If I say older, meaning my age, you know, he's not a teen or a kid that's starting to play. So Charles, he starts pretty late from what I would consider for a bass player. And his main goal is, man, if I could just be a backup bass player at my church, I'll be solid. And I challenged him. I was like, man, won't you, instead of trying to be a backup bass player for somebody, won't you try to be somebody's main bass player? And so it was challenging to him at first, but he took me on for the challenge. And within about a year and a half of doing lessons with me, Charles became somebody's main choice bass player. And then that moved on to other opportunities for him. And so what I challenged him to do is to raise his level of expectation as to what you want to do, because what is it they tell you, to shoot for the moon and hopefully you'll land amongst the stars? Well, why not shoot for even higher than that? Shoot for something bigger, something better than what you've been settling for. Don't just shoot to be good for the next big event that your church is going to have. Why not shoot to be the main guy for the big situation that's happening in your city? So that's my first point to you. Raise your level of expectation. All right, so for point number 2, take big risks. Stop being scared. All right, so I got to share a quick story with this one. Many of you guys know, and some of you may not know, but I played at New Birth Church in Atlanta. And at the time that I played at this church, I mean, it was huge. They had about 30,000 members. As I was going through the auditioning process for New Birth, I felt like I was way out of my league. I'm just be honest. I felt like I was way out of my league. And I auditioned for about 2 months. They brought a lot of different bass players in, but I was there for about a 2-month process in terms of auditioning. And at the end of that audition, many people don't know this, but I didn't get the job. I did not get the job for the bass player position at New Birth. Somebody else got the job, in my opinion, who was a much better bass player, who was way more talented, who had way more natural ability as a bass player. And so I was naturally intimidated, but it was cool. They asked me to come in, however, because this particular bass player who they decided on couldn't get there the weeks of the services for like the next 2 weeks. So they asked me to come back. That took a little humility, I will say, for me to show back up, and I know I didn't get the position. But here's where the taking the risk came in. If I had known this at the beginning, I would have probably been doing this at the beginning, but I was too busy being scared. That's the point of stop being scared. I was showing up week after week in this position, in this opportunity, and I was taking L's because I was so afraid. I was intimidated. I was allowing the people around me to affect my well-being. And there's a verse that talks about in Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. Ecclesiastes, however you say it. Many people quote that as saying, you know, the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but into the one that can endure to the end. That's not actually what that verse says. That verse says, again, I say, under the sun, the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor the bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to those with knowledge, but time and chance will happen to them all. I'm not here to preach or anything like that, but I did want to make mention of that, because here's the thing. You're going to get a time, you're going to get an opportunity, and if you're not prepared for that opportunity, it will pass you by. And so in my particular situation, I had this opportunity to come up for me where I'm sitting at this crossroads of my career as a musician. And because I was so intimidated, I was about to lose this opportunity. But thanks be to God, because it's him who allows promotion, as we know in Psalms 75 verse 6 through 7, that promotion don't come from the east or the west, but it's God who rises one up and who sets another down. So for you guys who are looking for that opportunity, who are looking for that chance, when you have it right in front of you, you got to take it by the horns. You got to grab it and you got to do the most with it. So my risk, what does this have to do with risk? My risk, when I knew I had to fill in for those 2 weeks, I came back, hey, I ain't got nothing to lose. So I went in there and gave it all I had that next Sunday. And it's like I played like I didn't care. Now, I played within the context of the music, but the fear of not getting the job and all that kind of stuff was gone. So I'm like, I'm gonna come in here and wild out. Thankfully, that kind of worked. And so the people, I think, were able to better see my ability, better see my potential. So needless to say, as history has shown, I got the job and I was there for the next 12 years. But that was my big opportunity, and I had to not be afraid to take the risk. So don't let fear and all that stuff intimidate you. I know it's cliche that we say in the church, but what God has for you, it is for you. So don't be intimidated. If you're in a room full of people who you feel like are better than you, they might be more skilled, they might be good at what they do, but they can't beat you at doing you. So the thing you have to do is make sure you're the best version of you when it comes to taking those big risks and not being so scared. All right, so for point number 3, show up. And when you show up, knock it out of the park. It's kind of like what I was talking about with the example that I just gave you guys in point number 2. When I showed up that last time, I tried to knock it out of the park. Now, I'm sure there were some mistakes and that type of thing in there, but when you show up, do the work that it takes to pre-prepare for what it is, for the thing that you're undertaking. Make sure you're doing the work, you're showing up, you're doing the stuff that's necessary to be there and to sit in the seat, or whatever the promotion that you're hoping to gain. Make sure you're doing the preparation work, but when you get there, show up. I never forget, there was this conversation that I heard with some professional musicians, and they were talking about this live recording that they did, and they talked about this particular guy. And when he was on the scene of this live recording, it's like he could play and he could do all this stuff, but at the live recording, he didn't show up. Like, wait a minute, what do you mean? You said he was there, right? Yeah, he was there, but he didn't show up. And so what does that mean, to show up? That means to show up bringing your A game, bringing your best. When you show up week after week, if it's a church that you're currently at now, because I don't want to speed too fast past this and trying to get to a next opportunity, and some of you guys are in a current opportunity, you don't get there on time. When you're there, you're not learning the music. I mean, when service is going on, maybe you're disengaged, you're on your phone, you're texting, you're in group threads, you're on Instagram, you're not present. So when you're there, you're not showing up. You're not bringing your A game. You're not showing up being one who's showing the actual leadership. Because I've said this in another video. People are already looking at leadership aspects about you when they decide that they're going to pick you for a leader. When I got called for my first opportunity to be an MD, it was because people had already saw those leadership characteristics that I had been showing when I wasn't an MD, when I wasn't the lead guy. And because of that, when I got called to do MD positions, because they knew I could handle it based on what I had already been showing. So I encourage you guys, if you're not the leader, act like the leader. Know the music, know the guitar part, know the drum part, know the keyboard part. Don't just know your part. Now do know your part, but don't only know just the bass part. You want to make sure that you're doing the necessary things, you're putting in the necessary work, doing the necessary steps, so when you show up, you can really come through. You can really knock it out of the park when you show up. Now for the last point, have something documented. Now, I can't stress this point enough for you guys who are, maybe you're in a transition process of you're playing, you've been at a church, you've been at something for a while, and you're looking to, get a new opportunity or something like that. Have something documented. What do I mean by that? Record something. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a position of I'm hiring musicians, and I don't know these particular musicians. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm looking them up. I'm going to Instagram. I'm going to their Facebook page. I'm going to their YouTube page. And I'm trying to check out, I'm doing a background check. As a person who's in the position to hire these people, I'm doing a background check. I'm trying to see, who is this person? What type of skill level do they have? And more importantly, what type of integrity level do they have? Because oftentimes, if you're in a position of hiring or bringing in musicians to a church or a ministry and that type of thing, I want to know, are you going to represent this organization well? Are you going to represent our body well? Especially if it's something that's being broadcast, people can see you and they're going to make that correlation between you being, oh, you're this cat that was on Instagram that was posting all the vulgar material. You're the person that's on Facebook that's always, using a lot of profanity, and you're saying stuff or you're posting images and that type of thing that, cause a conflict of character interest, that type of stuff. So you want to make sure that the things that you are posting that are visible online represent who you say you are. So that's just a little side note. But outside of that, let us see you play. Let us see you do what you do in terms of the showing up. Let us see it. Let the person who's looking for you, the person who's looking to hire you, when that opportunity presents itself and that person is doing their homework, let them find something good that you've put out there online. That means also if you posted stuff on YouTube, and the last thing you posted and you're documenting your journey as a bass player, as a guitar player, whatever it is you do, make sure you have something current that people can hear that you've grown and you made a lot of progress. Because if the stuff that you have out there is not painting a good picture of what you can do, then you're responsible for the image and the presentation of yourself online. People are doing Google searches nowadays to find out about you. They don't hardly do the resume thing too much, because we know people can tell a good old white lie on their resume. But when it comes to live action, people need to see you playing. They need to see you in a service. If you have some footage of you, one of your good Sundays that you really did your thing, document it, put it out there, allow people to see it. If you're a person who's looking for other opportunities and when you want somebody to consider you, because I can tell you from experience, most people who are hiring these days, they're going to ask you for some type of social media clips. Are there any videos or anything I can find of you playing, just to get to know a little bit about you. So hopefully all of these tips are helpful in helping you to level up in your opportunities and in your experiences as well in your playing. So I'm going to break down this quick lick before we end this video, because I really appreciate you guys hanging around all the way to the end of this video. So I'm going to show you what I played at the beginning. All right, so for the groove I played, we were in the key of G. All right, so what we're doing is the groove is in the 6. It started on the 6, 6 octave, 7, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Just in case I'm losing somebody with the timing, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 6, 7, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. That's the whole groove. So it's like on the upbeat, we're pushing. So that hammer on is on the downbeat. So a lot of the stuff that you hear me doing with the thumping, so you're doing a lot of movement in terms of the hammer on. I'm not going straight to the 7. So it's an open, slide to the 1. So I'm doing the same thing over that 2. And I'm hammering on the low note and plucking the octave. So I'm doing the same thing when I go to that 3, 4, that B to the C, sliding in. Okay, so that's the first half of what we're doing. And then the second half, where we're going to the 2, I'm leading in with a chord. Right? So what we're doing there, we're going. So we're sliding down to that A, which is the 2, and I'm going the 5 of that 2, octave A, B, C. And then I take that octave E and move it to F, right? And I catch the 2 in my bass. It's a little bit of finger stretching going on. So slow again. I'm sliding down to the octave E, A, B, C, E, F. Catch the A. That's the whole thing. Then we go 3 to 3, 4. So in context, that sounds like this. 3, 4 again. 3, 4. I'm gonna slow it down and do it again. 3, 4. So we're doing it over the 2. So we can actually do that in any key, but of course, according to your frets, that's going to be able to determine how much it is you're going to be able to do. So you can take that and move it to any key, but that is the entire lick, guys. I don't want to make it more complicated than that. All right, so real quick before I go, I want to make mention of this. So many of you guys might have seen these hoodies and some of the t-shirts below the screen of my videos. You might be wondering, what is Play for One? Well, this is a design we came up with based on one of my favorite scriptures, Colossians 3:23. It says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. It's like whatever we're doing with these instruments, we're going to give it to God. We're not necessarily trying to present this to the man. Granted, it's, you know, some of us look at it as an entertainment factor, but for me, we're giving it all to God. So that's what this is about. And if you dig it, if you dig the slogan, if you're for it and you want to represent playing for an audience of one, I encourage you to check it out below. I'm just making mention about it because I'm wearing this. I just happen to be wearing this hoodie today. I don't want you guys to be able to see it with a human being instead of just a hoodie in a picture. So if you're digging it, you're digging the designs, we have multiple colors. Be sure to check it out. Get your own and play for one. Anyway, guys, I'm Jermaine Morgan. I thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you found value in this video, and I will see you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.